I was wearing my mother's red silk blouse, lipstick slightly smudged, wig crooked, when the door creaked open. And she saw me. Not almost saw me. Not suspected. Saw me. For 5 years I had hidden my cross-dressing, folding the clothes back perfectly, deleting search history, practicing my normal voice. Thought I was careful. Thought I was safe. But that night, under the yellow light of my bedroom, there was no hiding. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just looked at me, slowly closed the door behind her, and said something that made my blood run cold. If you're going to do this, we're going to do it properly. In that moment I realized, getting caught wasn't the worst thing that could happen. It was only the beginning. You know that feeling when your heart is beating so loud you're sure the whole room can hear it? That was me. I couldn't even move. My hands were shaking, lipstick trembling in my grip. Part of me wanted to rip everything off, to apologize, to beg. Another part of me, this quiet, stubborn part, was tired of hiding. She walked closer. Calm. Too calm. How long? She asked. I swallowed. Since I was a kid. Saying it out loud felt like stepping off a cliff. 5 years of secret cross-dressing. 5 years of hiding dresses under my mattress, practicing makeup tutorials at 2 a.m., staring at myself in the mirror wondering who I really was. Was it just curiosity? Identity? Escape? I didn't even know. Have you ever kept something inside for so long that when it finally comes out, it doesn't feel like relief? It feels like exposure? Drop a comment if you've ever felt that kind of fear. She picked up the wig from my desk, examined it carefully. If this is who you want to be, she said slowly, then you won't do it halfway. I thought she meant acceptance. I was wrong. She sat down on my bed and said, tomorrow we're going shopping. And that's when my excitement mixed with something darker. Because her tone wasn't supportive. It was decisive. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. The next morning I barely slept. I kept replaying her words in my head. We're going shopping. Was this acceptance? Was this punishment? Was this some kind of test? You ever lie awake staring at the ceiling, knowing your life might change in the morning? That was me. At breakfast she acted normal. Too normal. She poured tea, asked if I wanted eggs, like she hadn't just discovered my entire hidden identity 12 hours earlier. Then she looked at me and said, we're something simple. We don't want attention. That word hit me differently. On the drive to the mall my mind was chaos. Part of me was terrified. What if she was going to humiliate me? What if she told relatives? What if this was her way of fixing me? But another part, the honest part, was excited. For years my cross-dressing had been rushed. Secret. Half-finished. Cheap fabric. Smudged eyeliner. Always in fear of getting caught. No. I was about to step into a store in daylight. With my mother. That felt surreal. She parked the car and turned to me. If you're going to explore this, she said calmly, then you need discipline. Presentation. Standards. Standards? I didn't understand what she meant. Inside the mall, every step felt heavy. I kept thinking everyone could see through me. Like they somehow knew. We walked straight into a women's boutique. No hesitation. No discussion. My throat went dry. The saleswoman smiled. Looking for something special? And before I could speak my mother said, yes. For my child. We're starting fresh. Starting fresh? That phrase echoed in my head. I wasn't choosing. She was. Have you ever wanted something so badly, but when it finally came it didn't feel like freedom? Let me know what you would have done in my situation. Because I stood there frozen, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. He picked everything. A soft pastel dress. Not something bold. Not something expressive. Subtle, she said. Elegance matters. Then heels. Not too high. Posture first, she added. Posture? Started to feel less like acceptance, and more like training. In the fitting room I stared at the fabric in my hands. It was higher quality than anything I'd ever worn secretly. The material was smooth. Cool against my skin. When I stepped into the dress, something shifted inside me. Fit. Too well. I stepped out slowly. My mother adjusted the hem. Tucked in my hair. Tilted my chin upward. Stand straight, she said. The saleswoman smiled warmly. You look lovely. That word hit me like electricity. Lovely. I'd imagined hearing that for years. But instead of joy I felt pressure. Because my mother wasn't smiling with pride. She was evaluating. Then came makeup shopping. She selected foundation, lipstick, mascara. Not asking what I liked. Telling me what was appropriate. Back home, she set everything neatly on the table. Sit, she said. She did my makeup herself. Slow strokes. Careful. Silent. I could smell the powder. Feel the brush against my cheeks. Hear my own breathing. When she handed me the mirror, my heart stopped. I didn't see a joke. I didn't see a costume. I saw possibility. But her next words changed everything. If you're going to live like this, she said quietly, there are rules. Rules? That's when something inside me tightened. This wasn't just cross-dressing anymore. This was becoming something structured. Controlled. And then something happened that changed everything. He made me walk. Back and forth across the living room. Smaller steps. Shoulders back. Hands softer. It felt like rehearsal. At first I was embarrassed. I stumbled in the heels. Almost twisted my ankle once. We both laughed awkwardly. There was your funny moment. But then, I started getting it right. My reflection in the hallway mirror looked confident. Composed. And for the first time I felt something powerful. Not shame. Not fear. Confidence. Have you ever seen yourself in a way that made you think, oh, this is me? Drop a comment if you've had that kind of breakthrough. But just when I began to feel free, she said something that stopped me cold. You'll wear this when guests come next week. Guests? I blinked. What? If this is your identity, you shouldn't hide it, she replied calmly. My stomach dropped. This wasn't private anymore. This wasn't my secret transformation. This was going public. Thought I was ready. I wasn't. The day arrived. Relatives, family, friends, people who had known me my entire life. And I stood in my room dressed. Makeup done. Hair styled. Hands trembling. I kept thinking, this is too fast. This isn't my pace. But my mother knocked gently. It's time. When I walked into the living room, conversation stopped. Silence. You could hear the clock ticking. One aunt blinked rapidly. Another cousin looked confused. Then someone said softly, oh. Not angry. Not mocking. Just stunned. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd faint. And then my mother spoke. This is who my child is, she said firmly. The room shifted. The tension cracked. Someone nodded. Another forced a polite smile. It wasn't perfect acceptance. But it wasn't rejection either. And in that moment something unexpected happened. I realized she hadn't been trying to trap me. She had been forcing visibility. Was it her method? Yes. Was it overwhelming? Absolutely. But standing there, exposed and shaking, I felt something stronger than fear. Courage. And what happened next shocked me to my core. One of my cousins walked over, hugged me and whispered, you look happy. Happy. I hadn't even realized I was smiling.